Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. It's Tracy here, and if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and hopefully you'll be informed when new videos pop up. So I've been talking about the way that I work my yarn ends in and that I very rarely have to sew any, and people have been asking me for a while to show you how I do it, but I will warn you, it's confusing and it's not for everybody. And it can't be done on every single thing you make. For instance, if you're using a really chunky yarn, then it's going to make it a little bit too bulky. But I make a lot of things with DK and Aran, it works fine with those, and thinner. So I've already ended off my first colour, and I'm going to pop my hook in to my first stitch and bring through my new colour. And I'm going to leave a nice sized tail to show you. Okay, so I've just got a loop on my hook of it, and ignoring that tail, I'm going to bring the tail of that yarn over my hook, and see, it's just brought over my hook, and I'm going to do a chain and cinch it down by pulling both ends, and then that's secured for me. So because I've not really got to worry about taking my yarn with me until I've finished this part here, I'm just going to, as usual, do 2 chain, and then working over both tails, I'm going to go into that stitch, because as you can see, the first 2 stitches were side by side. So I'm just going to go over both of those and make my stitch as usual, but not quite. I've got to take this yarn with me, because I'm going to bury this yarn in this colour and this yarn in this colour. So I don't want to take that yarn with me, I do want to take this yarn with me. So I'm going to go under that colour when I yarn over, and I'm going to go through 2 like I normally would, and see that yarn has now come with me, and I'm going to finish off my treble, or UK treble, US double, and that yarn has come up through that stitch with me. All right, so now I'll just pull that out, and I'm going to concentrate on this colour. I've got to bury it, so I can work over it here, but I can't really work over it there. I can, but I'm going to make a big gap. If you were just making row after row of trebles or whatever stitches, you can go over them, but we're talking about what is, to all intents and purposes here, a granny stitch. Okay, and I don't start my granny until here. So what I do is I just pop my hook in, and I get hold of it, and I bring it through, and I do that all the way along. It only works with the same colour or variegated yarn. I'm just pulling it along, and I could leave it there or just bring it through one more time. It really doesn't make any difference, because when I make my stitch, I'm going to go across there. Okay, so we come back to this one, but if you wanted to, you could pull it through so it's on the wrong side of your work, or you just leave it. It doesn't really matter. Makes no never mind. So now we're back to this. So our first stitch was a chain on this particular one, so I again want to pull that over my hook while I do that chain. Bring it with me. Okay, now I'm going to put both end and yarn around my hook, and I'm going to go in my first space. Now as you can see, that's just along there. I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to make sure I'm working over this one as well, and I'm going to do my stitch as normal. Now if that's puckered a little bit, I'll just pull in it. Okay, so I can now carry on doing my stitches. But when it comes to the last one, as I still got a bit of tail, I need to take it with me. So I'm just going to pull it over my hook. See what I mean about confusing? And now I'm going to go through 2 as usual, and my next 2 that's come up there with me. I'm going to pull that out, and obviously if you've not got a very long tail, you don't have to do this for long. I'm going to take that one along with me by just pulling it through as I go. And I only need to do it to 2, as I say, because although it's on the wrong side as well, plus I'm going to go across here. So again, both around my hook, go into my space. Now you can see that wants to flip up, but there's my 2 ends. I'm going to hold them with the work. I'm going to yarn over and pull up my loop. I'm going to finish my stitch. I'm just going to pull on that a little bit to make sure it's not puckered, and then I'll work over them. And now that's not long enough anymore to take with me, and so I leave that one. This is still long enough, so I take it with me. And I've never had one of my ends come out, I have to say, not since I've been doing them this way. That one, what I'll do now is I'll just get hold of it and I'll pull it just slightly and I'll snip it off. And then that will just disappear into there. But it's been worked up and round and it's just not going anywhere. There's the end, get rid of that. So this one I'm still carrying along with me and I can carry on working over it. Now it's not long enough to go along with me. Not really. So I'm going to do the same thing. Just going to pull it slightly and snip it off and it will disappear inside. Now those ends have been worked over and taken along and they've disappeared completely. So that's how I work over my ends when I'm doing a stitch like this. And I never sew in ends. I always have to sew in the first one. But then, you know, this is a tutorial. If this wasn't a tutorial, I would have carried that with me and worked it in this end. But obviously when I was doing a tutorial, that's too confusing. But that's what I do anyway. That's how I kind of work over and work in my ends. Now, it does look a little bit tighter along there because this yarn, even though it is the same yarn, it seems a bit thinner than this one. But it's the same brand, the same type. But that's what I do anyway. I did say I would show you. It is a little confusing. You may have to watch it a couple of times. But that's how I work them in as I go. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.